Hey team! All right, so let's do our example of the work we're doing today. We're looking for a connotative language in either the letter from Birmingham or the letter from Mecca. So you don't have any extra work besides this today. So once you finish this, you're done. So again, we're going to apply what we've been talking about with connotative language because we've been looking at that mostly in fiction in the Metamorphosis. So we're going to apply that to nonfiction because it works there too. All right, so let's talk about our steps for class. Oh, first we want to review what connotative language is. So I'm going to give you a minute to think about that. So a reminder that connotative language is usually one word or sometimes a phrase, and it brings up like a really specific feeling and imagery. So it kind of either feels negative or it kind of feels positive, all right? So examples might be like when we think of the word like safe, that brings up a positive connotation. We might think of a specific person or a specific place. So like, or kind of like an idea. So like when I think of safe, the connotations that I have with that are like feeling at home, being around people that I know love me and accept me, kind of like a warm, cozy feeling, right? Feeling free to be myself, those kinds of things. Okay. All right, so here are your steps for today. You're going to choose either the letter from Mecca by Malcolm X or the letter from Birmingham Jail by Martin Luther King Jr. Okay, you can do either one you choose. And your job while you look through that letter is to identify examples of connotative language. And then through working on your worksheet, you're going to kind of explore, what does this word mean? What are the connotations that it has? Why do I think the author used it at this point? So we're going to do an example together using Malcolm X's letter, all right? So I have my letter up here, right? And I'm going to just read through and see if when I find a word that sticks out. So Mecca, Saudi Arabia, April 26, 1964. I've just completed my pilgrimage, or Hajj, here to the holy city of Mecca, the holiest city on earth, which is absolutely forbidden for non-Muslims to even rest their eyes upon. Ooh, right away, I've got to stop because that word forbidden, that's very clear and it means a very specific thing and it makes me think of very specific things. So I want to use that one for my example. So I'm going to go, your chart looks like this, all right? And I copied it here on my PowerPoint so that you can see, all right? So I'm going to fill it in. I'm going to use the word forbidden, right? And then the associations that I have with that, if something is forbidden, it's not allowed. You could get punished if you do it. It might be dangerous. So I'm going to go ahead and fill those in as well. And then my next question is that a positive thing or a negative thing? Well, negative, right? If something is forbidden and I'm going to get punished, that's bad. Okay, so I'm going to put negative. And then why do I think the author used this word? So I think he was trying to tell us that Hajj is so important and so sacred. That means kind of like holy for Muslims, and that it would be wrong in like the worst way for someone who's not Muslim to go on the Hajj, right? That would be cultural appropriation, right? That would be like, you know, you see that kind of stuff all the time, like when white girls have dreads or you know, when people talk about like their spirit animal, like that's using parts of another culture in a way that does not do justice or honor to the spirituality or the importance or whatever it is, right? Like cultural appropriation means that you're doing things that are not from the culture that you're from in an effort to make yourself look cooler or better or whatever. Does that make sense? Okay. So basically, honestly, what I think Malcolm X is saying is that, like, not only would it be really wrong, like unholy for a non-Muslim to go on Hajj, but I think he's also making the point that that would be cultural appropriation. Okay, so I know that was a super, super quick rundown. So if you need help, you can text me. The other thing I want to say is that if you have chosen to do the letter from Birmingham jail, that's great. You can still put my example from the letter from Mecca in that first line if it's helpful for you and you want to have a reference. If you don't feel like you need that, then don't worry about it. If you're doing letter from Mecca, you're free to use my example as your first one. Okay? So again, excuse me. Again, if you need any help, you're going to text me, you're going to email me, you're going to let me know. And I can't wait to see what you guys said.